Remember when people died in their own beds, surrounded by three generations holding their hands? In 1955, death was a family event that happened at home, with loved ones present until the final breath. Today, most Americans die alone in hospital rooms while family members struggle to arrive in time. But that's not even the most heartbreaking part. Wait until you hear how we lost the right to die with dignity and love. It was October 1955, and everyone knew the time was near. The grandfather who'd worked the railroad for 40 years was fading in the same bedroom where he'd slept for 3 decades. The family doctor had visited that morning, checking vitals, adjusting morphine drops for comfort. No talk of transferring to hospitals, no mentions of extraordinary measures. Everyone understood he was dying, and he would die at home. The bedroom became the family gathering place. His wife of 52 years hadn't left his side in days, holding his hand, whispering memories. Adult children took shifts sitting with him, sharing stories, expressing gratitude. Grandchildren were brought in to say goodbye. Death wasn't hidden from them, but presented as natural, sacred passage. The minister came twice daily, offering prayers and comfort. Neighbors brought food, sat quietly in the living room, supporting however needed. But here's what made dying at home possible then. Communities expected it. Doctors made house calls until the end, managing pain with simple morphine, accepting death's inevitability. Families lived closer. Children hadn't scattered across continents. Most women didn't work outside homes, making caregiving possible. The dying person remained conscious longer without aggressive interventions. They could speak final words, give blessings, make peace. The bedroom filled with familiar smells, coffee from the kitchen, his pipe tobacco, her lavender perfume. Sounds of life continued around him, grandchildren playing outside, familiar creaks of the house, church bells marking hours. He died where he'd lived, surrounded by evidence of a life well lived. Pictures on walls, quilt made by his mother, view of the garden he'd tended for decades. Death came gently, often during sleep, family maintaining vigil. When breathing stopped, his wife knew immediately. No machines alarmed, no strangers rushed in. The doctor was called to pronounce death, but the family had already begun grieving, praying, remembering. The immediate aftermath was deeply personal. The body remained at home. Family members washed and dressed him in his best suit, final act of love and service. The funeral director arrived with simple coffin, but the wake happened in the front parlor. For 2 days, the body lay in state at home. Community members streamed through, paying respects, sharing memories, supporting survivors. Children touched grandfather's cold hand, learning death's reality without trauma. The familiar became sacred. Everyday spaces transformed into places of mourning and meaning. Women from church prepared food, managed visitors, supported the widow. Men dug the grave in the cemetery where generations lay. Everyone had roles. Everyone participated. The funeral happened at the church he'd attended 40 years. The whole town attended. Businesses closed, schools excused absences. Burial in the town cemetery meant his grave would be visited, tended, remembered. His widow could walk there. Grandchildren would bring their children. Death was final, but not disconnecting. Now let's see how dying happens today. Fast forward to 2024. The grandfather who worked tech jobs in 3 states over 40 years is dying in a hospital room 2,000 miles from where he was born. It started with a fall, then pneumonia, then cascade of interventions. What might have been peaceful decline at home became medical marathon. He's connected to monitors, ventilator, feeding tubes, dialysis. Each machine extends dying, not living. His wife, if still alive, sits in an uncomfortable chair, limited by visiting hours. Children fly in from scattered locations, coordinating through group texts, arguing about treatment options. Grandchildren remain home. Hospitals aren't for kids, parents decide, robbing both generations of closure. The room smells of disinfectant and fear. Sounds are mechanical, beeps, hisses, alarms. No familiar photos, no window view of his garden, no comforting presence of his own bed. Strangers tend him, nurses changing shifts, doctors who've known him days, not decades. The medical system takes control. Comfort care means different things to different doctors. Some push aggressive treatment until the last moment, others withdraw too quickly. Family members, stressed and guilty, make impossible decisions with incomplete information. Do everything, do nothing. Who decides when enough is enough? Advanced directives exist but get ignored in crisis moments. We can try one more thing, doctors suggest, and families grasp at hope. Each intervention leads to another, creating momentum toward maximum treatment regardless of outcome. The dying person, sedated or unconscious, can't participate in their own death. No final words, no blessings given, no peace made. Families sit vigil in shifts, exhausted, eating vending machine food, sleeping in chairs. They're visitors in death's medical domain, not participants in sacred passage. When death finally comes, it's often alone, family at hotel, grabbing food, or simply between allowed visiting hours. A nurse discovers the death, calls the family, begins procedures. The bureaucracy of death replaces human rituals. The body disappears immediately. Hospital policy, they explain. Family might get 5 minutes before transport to funeral home or morgue. No washing, no dressing, no time for reality to settle. Decisions must be made quickly, cremation or burial. Which funeral home? How much can you afford? The funeral industry, now corporate-owned, presents packages starting at $10,000. Simple coffins that local carpenters built for $100 now cost $5,000. Embalming, not necessary in 1955's quick burials, becomes required for viewing. The body, made artificial with chemicals and makeup, looks nothing like the person. Funeral homes are generic, interchangeable spaces, no connection to the deceased's life, no familiar comfort. Services are scheduled around availability, not community rhythms. People attend if work permits, watching clocks, checking phones. Burial happens in corporate cemeteries far from home. Graves are maintenance problems, not sacred spaces. Many choose cremation to save money, scattering ashes without permanent memorial. Within weeks, it's as if the person never existed. The cost goes beyond money. That 1955 death cost perhaps $200 total. Coffin, burial plot, funeral expenses. Families handled most preparations themselves. Today's death costs $20,000 minimum. Hospital bills for final weeks can reach hundreds of thousands. Medicare covers some, but families face financial ruin from co-pays and uncovered services. Funeral expenses force debt on grieving families. The emotional cost is worse. Children denied goodbye opportunities carry lifelong regret. Spouses who couldn't be present for final moments suffer complicated grief. Families fragment over treatment decisions, creating lasting rifts. Death becomes trauma rather than transition. Without home wakes, community grieving disappears. Co-workers might not even know someone died. Grief becomes private burden rather than shared experience. People return to work after 3 days bereavement leave, expected to function normally while shattered inside. The prolonged medical dying often extends suffering without extending meaningful life. Weeks on ventilators, months in ICU, years in memory care facilities. The slow, institutionalized fade replaces quick home deaths. Why did we abandon home death? Medicine promised to defeat death, and we believed. Hospitals became temples of hope where miracles happened. Dying at home seemed like giving up. Technology advanced faster than wisdom. We could extend life, so we did, without asking if we should. Families scattered geographically. Adult children living across country couldn't provide home care. Professional careers meant nobody available for 24/7 caregiving. Litigation fears drove doctors from homes to hospitals. Liability for home deaths exceeded hospital risks. Insurance paid for hospital care, not home care. Financial incentives pushed toward institutional death. Death became shameful, hidden. We lost comfort with natural processes, delegating dying to professionals. Children protected from death grew into adults fearful of it. Some families fight for better deaths. Hospice care tries returning dignity to dying. Home hospice allows some to die in familiar surroundings, but qualifying for hospice requires admitting death's approach, something families resist until too late. Many enter hospice days before death, missing weeks of comfortable closure. Palliative care focuses on comfort over cure, but it's often presented as giving up rather than accepting. Families feel guilty choosing comfort, pressured to try everything. Some families insist on home deaths despite obstacles. They hire private nurses, arrange equipment, battle insurance, but it requires resources, determination, and support most lack. The rare home death becomes privilege, not right. What have we really lost? We lost death as natural life transition. It became medical failure requiring maximum intervention. We lost dying as family event. It became professional procedure managed by strangers. We lost the comfort of familiar surroundings in final moments. People die in sterile rooms, not beloved homes. We lost community support through grief. Death became private crisis, not communal passage. We lost children's healthy exposure to life cycles. Death became hidden trauma rather than visible transition. We lost affordable, dignified death. Dying became financial catastrophe, often destroying survivors. Most profoundly, we lost good deaths, surrounded by love, speaking final words, dying where we lived. The 1955 grandfather who died holding his wife's hand, blessed his grandchildren, and lay in his own parlor, had what we've forgotten: death with dignity, meaning, and connection. Today's grandfather, dying alone while machines beep and strangers manage protocols, deserves better. We all do. Because death comes for everyone, and how we die reflects how we've lived. If we've lost the ability to die well, what does that say about how we're living? The final visit should be about love, not logistics, peace, not procedures, presence, not protocols. Until we remember that, we'll keep dying badly in pursuit of living longer, forgetting that how we end matters as much as how long we last. The hospital bed replaced the home bed, but it could never replace the loving hands that once held ours as we passed from this world, surrounded by those who made life worth living.